If I didn't have health insurance, I would be dead.
If you rely on things like health insurance, you're more careless.
If we cover one employee, we've got to offer it to everybody. It would put us out of business.
Everybody has health problems one way or another, you know? Okay, this is my son, Ethan. That's his ashes. Just kind of put the whole day in here, in the angel cabinet. I think it would be wrong to go bury him into the ground. Because he's my son. I was at my house here. I was sleeping, and then I woke up, my water was broke. Went to the doctors, and they said, well, you're about to deliver your son. And I said, I can't, I'm way too early. That baby's too small, I can't.
We call it we're pregnant, you know, and all the thoughts that you already plan on, doing this and doing that and getting this for him and getting all, it just all stops and just plunges, that's all gone.
I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. You have to push, you have to. You gotta deliver him, man, you gotta deliver him. And I'm telling him I don't want to deliver him. He wasn't gonna make it. When I was pregnant, I went to apply for health insurance so I could go to the doctors, because you gotta do an ultrasound to get an exact date. But because I didn't have that date from a doctor's office, they wouldn't give me health insurance. So I didn't go to see a doctor.
And there's no way we could just go in there and do all of our appointments and create that kind of debt in our own pocket. You know, I mean, doctor's appointments are ridiculously expensive, I'm sure you know.
We're just looking at each other. We didn't know what was going on. I'm hooked up to monitors. I'm hooked up to a whole bunch of things with IVs in my arm. I can't get out of bed. And then they walked in with Ethan in a blanket without him covered up, and they said, here's your son, he just passed away.
There's certain things that doctors have to do step by step. In that 4-month period, they just skipped all that, and then Ethan just came out early.
How they could have saved him is putting a surgical cerclage in me, because my pelvis was so soft. Now, if I would have had health insurance, I would have had a surgical cerclage, and I wouldn't have lost him.
You know, I've been through some crazy shit in my life. You know, I experienced relatives die, or, you know, friends get shot and they die. But this is completely different. When your son comes out and then got to hold him and everything, and it was, like, I gotta say, the worst part of our relationship in my life, worst thing I have ever went through. And we made it through that, so I think we'll make it a lot further, that's for sure.
I was having siding put on the house. There was material all over the place. And I was like, you know, walking through a minefield, and my legs got sort of twisted up, and I went, boop. When I sidestepped, I tripped over my own feet, and my face hit a saw. And that was it. I broke an artery in my face. It's just a lot goes through your mind. Like, what am I going to look like? Am I going to die? Am I going to bleed to death by the time the ambulance comes? How's this going to affect my wife? Because the blood was just pumping like this, squirting out of my face. There was no illusion. You're going to die. If they don't stop the bleeding, you will bleed out 5 minutes. I don't know what the time is. That's for real. I mean, you hear so many things about the health insurance industry not paying, you know, people, but that wasn't my case. Yeah, I got sick, but these people saved my life. So I have no gripe with the insurance companies at all. If I didn't have health insurance, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I would be dead. I mean, I guess I'm a little superstitious. But I will leave the house and I will get over this, you know. I want to go forward. I want to put all of this behind me. And I don't want to dwell on it. I just, you know, I have my sense of humor and that's what I want to keep. You know, people look at me, well, you know, what happened to your face? I said, you know, I was dueling in Heidelberg in Germany many years ago. That's how I deal with it. I mean, they didn't really, you know, it's a joke. But I don't think I'd be laughing if I didn't have health insurance.
You see the paint? It's coming off. Now you're starting to see the copper color coming through. I like to skip certain steps because I expedite things the way I do them, this way. You walk around the block to get next door, which I don't like doing. I like to go right next door. Well, people call me a locksmith, and I really think I am a lock expert. I can repair almost any lock. I was skating in Flushing Meadow Park, and some guy came by on a bike, pretty big guy, him and his girl riding, and he hit me, knocked me up in the air. And when I landed, while I was coming down, the weight of the skate turned my ankle. I didn't even know it was broken at first, but when I tried to walk, it was like a Raggedy Ann. I mean, like there was no bone in there. And the foot was actually hanging grotesquely down. Yeah. My first wife, she called me a knucklehead for doing it. But I said it myself. I didn't set it exactly right, but I just put it into a sling I made out of wood, and then I tied it up. And look, I'm not kidding. Have you noticed me limping today? This happened 10, 11 years ago. I can't afford health insurance, number one, and I just stay healthy. If you have a parachute, you become less positive. I think positive all the time. And I don't worry about the price of a Rolls Royce because I'm not thinking of buying one. So I'm not thinking of getting sick. I'm not. You conform to whatever it is. It's what the mind can conceive and believe the body will achieve. I don't think of health insurance. I think of health. I think of staying, I have to stay healthy.
I love equipment. I'm outside, I'm working, you know. I can't sit at a desk. When a bunch of farmers get together, we consider ourselves a bunch of masochists for doing what we do because it's a hard living and we don't make a big profit. My son is now, he just turned 23, and when he was 20, he had an aggressive form of melanoma. Melanoma is skin cancer. And there's varying types, and he had a very aggressive form of it. And so he was covered, and in that respect, the coverage we had worked very well. They got it all, and then he settled into a year of chemo. It's not up yet. He's still going on a regular basis to a dermatologist to be thoroughly scanned. They continue to do CAT scans every 6 months. I believe it's 5 years until they pronounce you cancer-free. Of the two sons, I would have guessed that he was the one that was going to run and go. He went to UMass Lowell for his junior year last year, and he came back here in March and said, you know, do you think I can come back? I miss it. I want to be here. And that floored me. But he cannot come back here as an employee and have the business cover his health insurance. Farm is tough to turn a profit. Cancer is known to come back. Cancer is expensive. If we cover one employee, we've got to cover everybody. We've got to offer it to everybody. And it would put us out of business. Pure and simple. We couldn't afford it. My concern is that he find a good job with benefits so he doesn't have to buy his own insurance. He loves working here, but if he has to buy insurance on his own, he's a bad risk. You never know. I mean, we take one day at a time. Farmers are the eternal optimists. We can't do this without being optimists. You know, it's always going to get better somehow.